nothing to say. Hey, 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 I ain't the ghost that you think I am. Hey, 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 ain't no tall drink of water for Uncle Sam. I'm no idealist, I think myself a realist. And how's the world keep spinning in a fashion that it does? Don't none of you remember who you once was? In a world of perfect strangers, love goes to the most familiar face, and anxiety's the most of which in this crooked place. Hey, 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 I ain't the sinner that I used to be. Hey, 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 I sit before judgment with a guilty plea, and it's hard to smile when you're suicidal. I turn on my family's horses into glue just for one more good look at you. I'm scared of what I might see, and I'm scared of what you might be. Might you really be free of me? Hey, 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 you're just a face that you show to me. Hey, 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 change it comes slow to me. If the breeze don't blow over, I'll grow wings in my shoulder. I never said you were all the things you want, but I didn't think you'd be much more. And so it's true that everything is alright. You never wanna go my stuff, 'cause I don't know what I am waiting for. And you don't know that I will be like I'm already on my way. It's always late, I'm always late to the party. You never wanna be like that. And everything is happening now. You always see the world from my point of view, but I don't know if it's right. But I'm not sure. Because I am already on my way.
All right.
All right. Here we go.
Hello, everyone.
For some reason, I can't see the chat through stream.
My name is not everyone.
Well, then I was saying hello to you.
I guess
Hello,
not.
everyone, the single person out there.
I can feel the love.
We do love you, Greg.
Oh, I appreciate it. Wow. Okay. His internet connection is interesting tonight. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening for episode 37.
Yeah, welcome in, guys. So let's get down right to it. Episode 37 of the Update Log. I'm Rob, your host as always, and joining me tonight, as usual, are the two stooges, Greg and Matt. Welcome in Old Man Garrus, welcome in Insomnia Knight, Harper, Moon Girl, welcome in everybody. It's been an interesting year, and we're only a month in.
Not quite.
Off to a good start.
yeah, just about a month in, and yet we're off to a fantastic start. To give you a shout out, welcome in. To give you guys some context, and I'm going to actually address that comment in a second, Insomnia Night, because I did not know that. Thank you. Across the entire gaming industry, from various positions in various companies and studios, I believe the count last I checked was 6,000 folks from various positions have been let go or left. So it's been a culling season, and 2024 just got started. So, but to be fair, also some of these layoffs are kind of layovers from last year. So
yeah, I'm hoping it's gonna calm down soon, but only time will tell. We'll see how that goes, because I mean, with all these layoffs, the job market is going to be extremely competitive for a while, as a lot of people are looking for new jobs, and companies that did those layoffs are probably pulling hiring freezes, and then a lot of those people are also going to go to like the indie market probably.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be an interesting couple of years as we kind of like see what all these layoffs and how it affects the industry as a whole. Which,
yeah, it's. Go ahead. Matt.
which you know, if that just means indie sector is going to see a lot more people in it, it's already very competitive and it's hard to get noticed. But I think the indie scene is where you see a lot of the most interesting ideas for video games. Because
You do.
a lot of the big companies, they don't want to take the risk on a new experimental idea.
The machines are taking over.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the industry within the gaming sphere has always been one to push the envelope and be open to experimentation. You are correct, Matt, in that most established studios won't. They're not necessarily as open to take a risk on an unknown or an unproven method, so to speak, be it a design approach or video game or game in general, not just video game, but game in general.
Yeah, not that they don't take the risk from time to time, like Bethesda publishing Hi-Fi Rush, as much as they didn't, advertise that game at all, so it's like a half-hearted commitment. But still, a rhythm-based action game, that's a pretty fresh concept.
Yes,
we've never seen a game like that combined with the rhythm elements.
There's a number of different games that have kind of really pushed the envelope, but we'll kind of continue down this vein in a second. But to kind of circle back to some of the chatter, Foundry is now officially partnered with WotC.
I'm going to go a little different direction, and I'm going to say this.
The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
Did he like poof?
Did he cut up?
Greed works.
He said
I am letting the channel do it for me. Greed.
Okay.
I had the Twitch stream muted, so I don't hear it on my end. So it's like from my end, I was like, "Here's what I'll say." Complete silence. I'm like,
so for the chat, for reference, we for a while we had a problem with Greg's mic where he would cut out all the time at the most inopportune fucking moment. So this is kind of us.
Don't let them lie to you. They were just muting me. They're like, nope, can't say that.
But you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Greg. I would imagine a lot of it. The layoffs, and again, to remind you guys, it's 6,000 folks have been kind of let go between the start of 2024 and kind of the tail end of 2023 within the industry. The largest to date is Blizzard. Well, Microsoft letting go of across 3 different sections: Xbox Studios, Activision Blizzard, and ZeniMax, about 1,900 individuals. And so much so that the former CEO of Blizzard, Mike Ibarra, left.
Yeah.
Or left, quote unquote, left.
Well,
I mean,
that's what's on record, so that's what we're going with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're like CEO, executive, you're never fired. You always leave, of their own volition. That's how it always is. They get their golden parachute, they get a bunch of money, and they go about their way. But it's interesting to talk about Mike Ibarra because go a while back, and he once said that they'd have to drag him out of that office if he were to ever leave. And now it's like, oh, I'm happy to leave. It was a great time working with everyone, stuff like that. Stuff you see. So it's like, how willingly did he go there?
Let me see. You drag me out of the office and I get nothing, or I take my few $1 million severance package and I walk out on my own 2 feet. Hey, I'm game. Let's do it. I'm walking.
To be fair, I'd take it too. But it's interesting to see the his own words contradicting what he had once said. But Again, that's how it always is. They never get fired, and they have to make that. They put out their little social media posts as part of just like for the it's more the company speaking than they themselves, and
Yeah.
when it comes to posts.
And yeah, Insomnia Night. He's already been replaced. Yeah, Harper. Yeah, it was. I think within 4 days he was replaced with. Actually, I have her name here.
Well, but
Bloomberg reports.
But make sure that we keep the timeline straight, because I mean, they kept him on just long enough to take credit for the layoffs, announced the layoffs, and then hired the new CEO.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong. And so to be clear, this new CEO, her name is Johanna Ferries. If I'm pronouncing that right, if I'm not, I apologize. She is actually not new to Blizzard Activision. She was actually the general manager of Call of Duty, senior vice president, head of leagues. I'm assuming that's their like competitive leagues for like Overwatch or whatever, and Call of Duty Esports commissioner apparently. So she is no stranger to the company. I guess she just basically got a promotion. But it was ironic, as you put it, Greg, that she was let go, or rather, Mike Ibarra was left, and then she was kind of reinstated pretty quickly.
I gotta say, on the promotion standpoint, 2024 is not the year that you want that kind of promotion. I just no, not at all, because we're not done yet.
And we've talked privately about this, kind of, between us and everything ourselves, and unfortunately there are going to be more layoffs to come, not just in the gaming industry, just all industries. I mean, just earlier today, as we were prepping for this, Greg, how many individuals were let go from UPS?
The hold my beer conversation when Brown decides to look around at all the different industries and say, hold my beer. You think you got this with 6,000 or 6,900 people laid off. How about if I lay off 3% of my entire workforce, which is 15,000 people?
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah. Like that's a lot of folks.
Well, that's a story in and of itself. I don't want to derail anything, but I mean, I do want to point this out when it comes to what is going on in the global economy, not just in the United States. But I mean, Brown is a company, UPS is a company that reported profits of $2.8 billion with a big fat B billion dollars in the fourth quarter.
That's a lot of fucking money.
Right, in the fourth quarter of 2023. And that's on a revenue decline of almost $8 billion. So the overall revenue was down $8 billion. They still made $2.8 billion in profit. And then coming into Q1 of 2024, they decide, hey, you know what? We got to lay off 15,000 people so that we can save $1 billion on the bottom, because 2.8 billion isn't enough. Apparently, you got to have an extra billion in there. All in the name of realigning their workforce, which I get it. I understand it, but there's this counterproductivity piece that goes in there, because, when things are unstable as they are, if you really want to heal the situation, you got to find a way to provide stability. It's from a shareholder standpoint, investor, I'm an investor. I want to make money on my investments, but I tell you what, I don't want to put people out of a job to do it. And
well, you're one of very few, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's like bringing up the situation from Nintendo, and Satoru Iwata and several other execs took a pay cut before letting people go. Now, granted, and I just learned of this today, Japan does have certain labor laws that make it that may have informed that decision that they would take the pay cuts instead of laying people off, because I believe like laying people off like that is that's like one of the last choices that they would have to make.
Yeah, from a cultural standpoint in Japan, absolutely. The Japanese culture dictates that they are a lot more employee friendly than we are.
Well,
so.
and here's the thing, that the issue, or rather the piece with the Nintendo CEO, there's a lot that goes into that. It wasn't out of the kindness of his heart. it is culturally more applicable within the Japanese culture to do that. But I read a couple articles on it. I can probably link them in our Discord later on. There was more to that than just him wanting to keep those people on.
Yeah, though
but he still did it.
Yeah, like I do respect that is a thing in Japan. Not to say that Japan's work culture doesn't have its own problems, because it does. It really fucking does. But
yeah,
it seems at least they try to keep people employed a little more than we've been seeing here in the States.
I do want to recognize Old Man Garrett's comment. I appreciate that, and you are absolutely, man. Amazon is taking a bite out of UPS's business.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
just I personally, I am not going to accept that as an excuse for what they've decided to do. I'm not going to. Because, and I get it, but at least take a look at your business and plan on what you can do with it, instead of deciding that you're going to terminate 15,000 people. I mean, 15,000 people. Okay.
Pretty much what you're saying is that you feel like there should have been some solutions thought of before resorting to such a thing.
Yes, and there's many ways to go about that, and they may have done this too. So I'll be fair with that, and I'll say they may have done this too. But I mean, attrition is a thing, and attrition will take care of a large chunk of things for you just by ceasing the hiring process and reallocating your labor force that way. That's one piece to it. And as a company as large as them, they could have been doing this for quite a while now. I mean, it's not like Amazon just popped up yesterday and started running away with their business. So, this isn't a surprise that this is happening. So I'm just not real happy with that, seeing that decision come out of any company where they're just going to up and lay off 15,000 people.
Yeah,
that's why
I would like a better explanation than we're realigning our workforce. I mean,
yeah, I can't imagine how that looks good to investors. That you just had to drop 1,500 people.
Well, companies their size,
15,000.
Right.
Oh, yeah, sorry, excuse me, 15,000.
Companies that size, the bulk of their investors are not private individuals. They're people that are investing through mutual funds, and that's where that's the part of the difference is the mutual fund is absolutely going to be looking at bottom line figures. And if you can't maintain profitability, you're not going to be able to show value for your stock, pay dividends, at least be stable through this tough period, maybe not lose as much as everybody else does. That's what they're going to be looking at. So the company does have to start looking at, okay, what is our profitability outlook for Q1 2024? Because this is the big quarter right here.
Gotcha.
And if they can hold on to some of that value coming through Q1, they'll probably do okay coming through Q2, Q3, and into the holidays. But
so typically, kind of that first
it's a
quarter of the year.
It's a short-term view, is really what it is, and it's a forced short-term view. I get that, I understand that, but that's okay. UPS is probably not going anywhere. I mean, they're a large portion of their business is done business to business, B2B traffic, stuff like that. So they're probably not going anywhere. They may shrink. They might. The Amazon business model is definitely gaining traction, but then again, where's that going to go to?
I don't know. That's actually a good question. I mean, the thing with that kind of bugs me with, especially in our industry, in the gaming industry, a lot of the so again, going back to Microsoft, they acquired ZeniMax a couple of years ago. They acquired Blizzard, Activision last year. They acquired all these studios, and now they're gutting them. Same thing with Amazon. Amazon reached out and is acquiring a bunch of studios, smaller studios. I mean, perfect example. We're gonna dive into this as well. So the studios, the big names, aren't the only ones that are suffering. Twitch is losing people, just laid off. This has happened at believe at the end of 2023 or the beginning of 2024. Laid off a couple hundred people. Discord, the voice over IP that pretty much everyone uses now, laid off people. I mean, it's not just the studios. Everyone is getting hit.
Yeah, like the entirety of the tech industry, and from what you brought up, Greg, about UPS, seeing some of that outside of the tech industry as well.
Well, a lot of it, a lot. I mean, it's the turn down in the economy right now. We're not seeing a full picture yet, but it's there. Industry is going to slow down. February, March are going to be leaner than they traditionally have been. January hasn't been too bad, but yeah, I think a lot of companies, especially in the manufacturing world, pulled ahead to pad those numbers so they could come through into the new year with a good boost to kick off the new year, absorb some of the write-downs they have, the holdover stuff from 2023. And then we'll see where the rest of this quarter goes. And but just I'm not an economic expert or anything, but I mean, my prediction is that Q1 2024 is going to be ugly. By the time we get to the end of March, it's gonna look bad.
Oh yeah, and Grimwolf is bringing up seeing it in the plastics industry as well. So yeah, that shit's all over.
Yeah,
but I mean, look, when there's downs, there will eventually be ups, So
hopefully, man. Here's the thing. The thing that kind of is scaring me with regards to the industry is, and we've talked about this in earlier episodes, that we're seeing.
Wow. Give me just a minute. Yeah, can't have a stream without some sort of technical difficulties,
Yeah, good old collab cam, very stable, stable as always. I don't. It's not internet connection. It's just collab cam being stable.
I will get around to testing some new platforms here at some point.
But yeah, I mean, we were seeing a consolidation of a lot of studios under one umbrella. I mean, you have ZeniMax, you have Xbox, you have Blizzard, Activision, and all of its IPs under Microsoft, and Amazon has its own conglomeration of different studios, and its own studio, which isn't doing so well.
I wouldn't be too doom and gloomy about it.
It's not necessary. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a terrible thing, because again, with Microsoft, with Amazon, comes resources both in personnel and in funds. Those companies make money. You can't argue that. So as a gaming studio, that's not necessarily a bad thing. As a matter of fact, I'd even argue that's a boon. However, from what we've been seeing, to the Q4 of 2023 into now, the first month of 2024, those studios that got swallowed up are being downsized.
There's another way. The short-term piece to it is absolutely ugly and horrible and very painful, because a lot of people are going to be in that space of complete limbo. Surprise, you lost your job. But there is, there's potential for an upside to the whole thing, and that is, for one, there's a lot of skilled people that are going to find themselves back into looking for a job. They're going to be trying to get back into the labor force because they've been displaced for whatever reason, and that opens up opportunity for other small studios, other companies. The only drawback to it is capital is not there either. So there's not a lot of free capital, money to borrow, basically. So on the positive side of that is these companies that are going to be looking at, hey, how do we move in here and capitalize on this? How do we pick up some of this talent? How do we, steal away some market share, because it's there, the opportunity's there. They're going to have to be lean in how they do it. They're not. It's not like there's free money out there that they can just run and borrow a pile and go play with it. They're going to have to find real investors, people that are looking for an opportunity. And they're going to have to be very service focused. They're going to have to produce. You can't just get away with producing a bunch of cheap crap.com. Isn't going to work right now. You're going to have to provide some real value to your customers.
Yeah. And honestly, I think another thing we're probably going to see is an uptick in a lot of new studios forming from all this talent now looking for work, that they're essentially going to create their own work. Like, kind of like how we saw back in 2015 after Hideo Kojima, the creator of Metal Gear Solid, left Konami and started his own studio, Kojima Productions. There are a lot of very skilled people out there now who may be looking to do something very similar.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think it's not a bad thing if we start seeing studios like that pick up, because I'm all for seeing new studios bring fresh games that a lot of the legacy companies aren't exactly doing. Kind of like how we've seen Larian shoot up in in how much prestige they have over years, by each year year after year just putting out a game that just keeps doing better and better. They're obviously improving each time they put out a game, and I want to see more like that. I want to see new people rise up in this industry and breathe some new life into it.
Mm. I agree. It's just like you said. I mean, you did actually put it pretty well, Greg. It's disheartening now because it's jarring, and it seems a continuation of kind of the downturn we saw in 2023. But it is only the first month of 2024, and yeah, the market's going to be flooded with a lot of good talent, and that could bode well for the industry as a whole in a couple of different ways. Again, skilled talent getting together, opening their own studio, and creating the games that people have been wanting to see, that these larger studios aren't willing to take a chance on. So that there's a boon there. Or some of these smaller studios that are already in development for really, really anticipated, and folks are really excited for these games coming out, might get an influx of skilled talent to push that game to the next level. So I agree. Does not get all doom and gloom, but it just hurts. It just hurts to see a lot of folks just suddenly out of a job like that.
Yeah, it does. But as I was saying before, when there are downs, there's going to be ups. Life is a roller coaster. I'm getting a little philosophical here, but I don't know. My own personal philosophy is always to try to at least try to look at the future with some hope, because it's very easy to fall into the doom and gloom.
Yeah. Well, we definitely started out tonight with that ugly picture of nobody likes the impact on the workforce, the people. Okay.
No.
I don't think anybody is out there saying, yeah, let's go put a bunch of people out of work. I don't think anybody's out there doing that. Maybe there are. It's not me. All right. I would much rather see the labor force be more stable and actually get out of this whole cycle of boom bust that we seem to go through. It's the roller coaster. Mm-hmm. That's risky business. So there you have that. It's the customer impact piece, I think, I think that's the next part we're going into, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
that's where
consumer base.
right. That's where it gets even uglier because you may be one of those people that is not impacted directly by the layoffs in this industry or any other industry, and yay for you. I'm glad that you've got that, but I hate to tell you, your costs are going up.
Yeah, I mean we've seen it already. Like, there are several games, there are several studios that are pushing for the price of games to go from like $60 to $70, and but here's
All
the
too
thing,
well,
even
Varys.
yeah, but even before that push started, games already have been more expensive for quite some time because we have had microtransactions, we've had the deluxe editions, we've had all these other things that have been added on to the base cost of games for quite a while. So even if the base price has stayed 60 for so long, that hasn't been the real cost of many of these games for a long time now.
Yeah.
And now Activision Blizzard wants to put out a $100 expansion for Diablo 4.
Yeah, old
Really?
man Garrus did mention something when we started in on Blizzard and the layoffs. Yeah, let me scroll up to make sure I have his comment right. I think it's something along the lines of they kept the D4 developers. Yeah, they kept the D4 developers. And here's the thing, I know a couple of folks who've played Diablo 4, and some people say it's good. Most people say it's trash. And again, seeing the layoffs now from Blizzard Activision, I'm wondering if it's going to get any better. I think Matt, we were speaking about this earlier tonight. They're going into season 3, and they've seemed to have done something to piss off the community again.
Yeah. So, like, season 1 of Diablo 4's content, people had a lot of problems with. Season 2, they did better. Granted, it was a bit of a low bar at that point, but an improvement is an improvement, And season 3, from what I've heard, they introduced a system like I think they're traps that essentially require you to be a little slow and precise in how you avoid them, because you can lose a lot if you fall for them. Lose a lot of your like items that you've been gathering, and if you die and stuff like that. But the problem, of course, with is the design of Diablo and many other games that have a very similar playstyle to Diablo, like say Path of Exile. It's a very fast-paced gameplay. So requiring people to slow down a bit is a little counter to the overall design. So a lot of people just were not a fan of it. Which I think I also heard that they maybe just kind of like rolling that back. So if true, then good on them for rolling it back. But still, if that season's content, like core mechanic, is bad enough to where they have to roll it back so immediately, then yeah, maybe they need to take a look at what their game really is and what their players want to see.
No, it's and that kind of again adds to the sense of gloom, where it feels like on top of everything else, on top of the layoffs, on top of the increased prices for expansions, it seems like a lot of the larger studios, I guess the mainstay studios, aren't paying attention to their play base. They're not listening.
Yeah, no, I mean,
they're simply just not listening.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're like, as we've talked a bit about it before, they're not that they don't try to please their players, because that's always one of the goals, but they're also having to please the investors up top, and sometimes that takes priority over the players, and we see the problems that tends to create.
Well,
and
Garrus actually is pointing out some really good things, and it's very easy to draw that distinction, and I'm not saying that's a wrong distinction at all, but it's very easy to point at investors, which we tend to do that. We tend to point at the investors and say, "There's your bad guy." I mean, look at go back 2 years and look at the 2077 release. What was the very first thing you heard? Them awful and right. The finance people, they did it. They're responsible.
It's not, for me, it's not necessarily the investors. At least in this case, I'm definitely not blaming the investors.
Mm-hmm.
It seems the people in the studio, the executives, directors, especially the creative directors. Those. I mean, and the creative director, basically the one that's driving the ship for whatever project. And again, it could be they have different titles for it. But anyway, it seems like they're just out of touch with what the players want. And here's the thing, in my opinion, they have no excuse. The gaming community is a very vocal community. So they have no excuse not to know what their players want to see. Now, I will also say this from a development standpoint, you can't always implement everything that your players want. And I get that. I 100% get that.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine a game that tried to implement everything that players wanted?
It'd be a steaming pile of shit. Full stop. It'd be a steaming pile of garbage.
Look, as long as every game has a fishing mini game, I'm happy.
I literally got to share this story. Doing focus meetings, which is pretty common in our society and industry today. Focus meetings with your employee groups, especially concerning morale and what would make things better. How can we serve you better? How can we make the environment better? And in a manufacturing facility, and maybe some of you guys can relate to this, maybe not, but I mean, I literally, when that question was asked to one of these focus groups, I literally had an employee tell me that what would make things better in our plant is an ice cream machine in the break room.
Ooh.
Huh.
Yeah. So maybe that's where we need to go. Everybody needs to put ice cream machines in the break room. That would solve problems.
As long as they don't get those ice cream machines from the same place McDonald's gets theirs. If I'm gonna get an ice cream machine in my workplace, I want to work.
What do you mean? They clean theirs once every 6 months.
I mean, yeah, paying more Grimwood would more money always increases morale.
Yeah, I absolutely disagree with that. I absolutely disagree with that.
Okay, all right, let's see your disagreement.
Money is, and I'm not saying money's a bad thing, but showering people with money is not the answer. It is not. Okay, here's a picture for you, all right? If you let's say you have an employee, a talented employee, all right? In our industry, you have a dev that is just, they're the shit. They everything they touch is gold. If the environment or the environment of your company is a toxic environment, they're going to want to leave. And offering them more money may get them to stay a little while longer. But what you're going to experience, they're not going to perform as well. They're only going to stay because of the money. They're not tied to anything else there. They're not emotionally attached. They get to a point where they hate the culture they live in because it's a toxic environment, and they're gonna shell up inside themselves to protect themselves from that influence. But if you offer them more money, they'll stay for a while longer, at least until somebody else comes along and offers them even more. And what are we doing with that? A point that Garrus made earlier is about the contracts that were negotiated that just settled between the unions and UPS. in how some of their drivers, given the latest union contracts, some of their drivers are capable of making upwards of $170,000 a year. So that's a lot of cha-ching. That's, you take the average median income in the United States right now, and that's they're getting paid, one person getting paid what 3 people are getting paid, according to the average, or actually more than that. But let's just look at that for a moment. We have a place where we're going to continue to just raise pay, pay you more money, pay you more money, pay you more. I can only do that until I go bankrupt. Now I don't have a business anyway. The more, my stance on it is the more important piece is look at what environment you're putting people into. If you can go to work every day and feel good about, and I'm not saying you're going to work for peanuts. Okay, that's not what I'm. Let's not look at it that way as all or nothing type of thing. You should get a reasonable wage. You should get a livable wage. Absolutely. I'm not talking $15 an hour. If you're a talented individual, then you should be paid accordingly. But the thing is it always shower people? If it's always shower people with money, then your culture is going to suffer. And if you're in that particular environment where you go in every day and, from the moment you wake, maybe not even from the moment you wake up, how about from the time you go to bed the night before, you're filled with dread for what you have to do the next day. You just don't want to do it. And what are you going to contribute for that company? Very little. Very, very little. So work on the culture first. Work with your people and try to foster an environment where people actually want to come to work. They want to be engaged. They want to be involved. They want to contribute something other than just being there and collecting a paycheck. That's, sorry, I'm being philosophical with this, but that's the truth of it. Money is not the solution to all problems. It's just not.
I say, well, it isn't the sole solution. The ideal is that you're able to have both a good work culture and good pay. Mm-hmm. Like, even if you're, like, as you're saying, you can't pay them peanuts. Even if it is a good work culture, they'll have to leave that good work culture for, right, possibly a toxic one that'll just give them enough money to live. You need both.
Well, there's plenty of companies out there right now, some of them very large that we've mentioned today, and I'm not going to name any names, like Amazon, but
yeah, we would never name Amazon.
They can't do that. But they literally company billions and billions and billions, and their warehouse employees can't afford to pay the rent.
Yeah. We've heard about it. Like, they're living off of food stamps. Mm-hmm. Some of them can't afford to get the food in their own company cafeteria. Like, that stuff is ridiculous.
Right. What is that? If nothing, in the cafeteria piece to it, do you really, do you really need that? Do you really need to milk your own employees for money? If you can't give them a raise, then give them a free lunch. Something.
Yeah, I agree, Greg.
There's a lot of factors.
Good pay. Compensation. I will accept your challenge with that, Garrus, and give you an answer on the good pay piece. And there's more to come. I love you, man. When it comes to good pay, I personally, you should be able to, at the bare minimum, survive on your, and not just survive, but be able to do all the things that you need to do, and then some of the things that you want to do too. You should be able to live in accommodations that are appropriate for you and your family. You should be able to have the basic accoutrements that we enjoy as a society: cell phone, 3 meals a day, roof over your head, electricity, air conditioning during the summer, heat during the winter, all those things, internet. You should be able to afford all those things on your salary, and possibly be able to put something away as well. Now, there's a question of how you manage your money as an individual. I'm not going to go into that right now, but that is also a question that's out there that people really seriously need to ask themselves. Now, if you're making that amount of money for a base end job, and I'm not talking about the guy who is the super rock star developer, or a welder, a CNC operator, or the person who manages the finances or whatever, transportation people. I'm not talking about those folks, because they have skilled jobs, and those jobs require them to be able to do something more than just stock a shelf or flip a burger or clean the toilet. And I'm not knocking the people that do those jobs either, because I do believe that even those jobs need to be, that's what I'm talking about. They're the ones who need to be paid to an extent where they can actually afford to live a life, a decent life, not be worried about, I got to get my food stamps to buy my supper or whatever. No. Based on, yes, skills and experience, two main things right there. With the floor being that person who has no skills and experience, but they should also factor in, what do you contribute? It shouldn't be just the skills and experience. I mean, your high contributors who are not in a highly skilled position, why wouldn't you want to pay them more? Because you don't have to? That's the only answer I can come up with.
Parents describing teachers.
What teachers deserve to be paid? Well, honestly, teachers do deserve to be paid well in our society.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
they do.
It's a
way more than what they're getting paid. That's for sure.
It's a profession in which they are the ones who are directly influencing the future of our nation. Directly.
Oh yeah,
influencing.
It's like society. We as a society need that job filled, and it requires someone with. It requires someone to have a good education, like specialized knowledge and all that stuff. It's like any other industry. You'd be like, yeah, no, person with specialized skill set that is important to society. Yeah, that should be a well-paying job.
There's a lot that goes into that, Garrus, and I think I could probably spend the whole episode and drive everybody away tonight just talking about those things, so I'm not going to do that.
Hi, welcome to Update Log. We've turned into an
economic debate between old man Garrus and me.
Podcast. So,
suffice it to say that the basics of what I laid out is what I believe. I do believe that people should be paid based on skills and experience and contribution. Outside of that, there's so many factors that can go into that it just becomes ridiculous very quickly. If you are, our philosophy in this, now we don't have a highly profitable business as of yet. As a matter of fact, we have a business in which we are continually dumping more money into. So a zero profit business, you might as well say. But with the idea that we'll build it into something, and we have already discussed how to handle that. The idea behind our business model for our company is very simply to make sure that we are keeping people on a equitable basis with us. And I hate using that term, but it really just comes down to, I don't intend to use design or anything else to make myself an extremely rich man, and I know my partners do not either. We want to share that with the people that help us build whatever we build, and give them a reasonable stake in what we produce.
Yeah. And I think, and again, we've had this discussion privately. It's about, for us, it's about making sure that the people that work for us are working also with us. And what I mean by that is that they have a stake in the success of what we're doing as well. That it matters to them outside of just coming in and getting a paycheck. That might sound, I don't know, kumbaya-ish or whatever the fuck. I don't care. But and because I've been on either side of that line. I've been the guy going in for a paycheck, and I've been the guy who was actively involved in a project and cared about its success. And I can tell you, it's like night and day. Like I'm not going to say it doesn't feel like work when you're actively engaged and actively invested in the project, but sometimes it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it really doesn't. You're there. You're coming up with ideas for it. You're trying to improve it because it matters to you. Outside of just making money off of your work, and too much now in various industries across the board, it's about just collecting the paycheck. And I think a lot of folks, for various reasons, are in survival mode. In the last couple of years. So,
well,
again, not to get too off topic.
It's very unpopular to say that it's not about money, because that's
it's totally about money to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
Again, money is good. We need money. It is what it is. Accept it. We need money. But after that, after our basic monetary needs are met, we need something more.
And we appreciate you, Garrus. Don't worry about it. We're way off topic, but don't worry. We'll throw the anchor out and get ourselves back on course here.
Yeah, we're discussing some heavy topics right there. Let's discuss something that kind of made me laugh.
Something lighter, like
something that made me laugh. So we had talked before about that game, The Day Before, that hyped people up, became one of the most wish-listed games on Steam ever. Released a shitty product and then went away for when the game was taken off Steam 4 days later. That whole debacle. The studio Fantastic said that they were closing down, they were no longer making games, and we thought that was the end of it. However, a couple days ago, they came out with a statement pretty much saying that the reason The Day Before failed was because of journalists and content creators saying bad things about the game. Not because they engaged in what some might call false advertising and put out a shitty product. Nah, it was the journalists who were wrong.
So for those of you who don't know, in our audience, Day Before was this zombie apocalypse kind of survival game that was put out, or supposedly was supposed to be put out by. Let me look up the studios.
They're Fantastic.
Fantastic with the weird spelling.
I think it was something like.
And they put out a bunch of trailers and a bunch of gameplay footage, and I use air quotes there because when folks picked up the game, it wasn't what the fuck they showed. It was nowhere near what was shown. Was it fantastic?
It was honestly in fact not fantastic. Yeah, no, it was
horrific.
It was so fantastic they had to take it away from everybody.
I think it was
we just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I think it was the only time that Steam ever had to give refunds to everybody who bought the game, which is actually fucking crazy because Steam wouldn't normally want to do that. But the game was nuts. I remember seeing some pretty funny bugs. I remember seeing all the way in the distance someone with a super massive head, however that came to be. They also had a problem where you would shoot a zombie, then a full second after the bullet hit them, then they would react, flinch or something. Game was just not functional. And after
but apparently
after
it's
everything. Yeah, after everything was said and done, for some reason they decide to come out and say that it's the problem of journalists and content creators talking bad things about the game is why it's failed. It's like, hold on, why come out now? It's already done. You said you were dissolving the company. Like, it's why?
Here's the thing: the game was so bad that the company actually changed their name. The studio had to change its fucking name.
Shame.
Oh yeah, they did say that they were dissolving the company, but rather if I recall correctly, I have to look this back up. But I'm pretty sure they just changed their studio name and is still working.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
They
a new
changed the studio name, and I
it's a
think
new
they
company.
changed.
It's totally different now.
I think they actually changed the name of the project, but they're still doing it.
Wait, okay, I didn't hear about that actually.
I think
Still
again,
going
I
forward
could be
with the
wrong.
project?
I think so, but I could be wrong.
What are they going to call it this time? The day after?
Oh my god!
The week before.
Oh,
Okay, so actually,
a year
I pulled up some tweets here to read to you guys. This was posted by Fantastic, December 11th, 2023. Answer to those who ask for a refund. Matona and we're okay. I don't think English is their first language, but Matona and we're currently working with Steam to allow refunds for any player who chooses to request one, regardless of game time. Fantastic received $0 and will receive nothing from the day before sales. This was a response to that particular tweet by a user. Unbelievable that you guys hyped this game up so much, and this is the end result. You guys are an absolute disgrace to the video game industry. I can't argue with that one. This was Fantastic's response. This is our first big experience. Shit happens.
Okay.
just shit happens, man. and yeah, they changed their name to 8 Points now.
Yeah.
Which some are saying that's a name that's like their old name. So they at one point they were 8 Points, then they became Fantastic, and now they just went back to 8 Points. But yeah, just what a response! Like, I don't know why they bothered to come out and say anything. They should have just let it lie. Let it lie. Move on with their lives.
People had
forgot.
People forgot about you. Just move on.
Hey, maybe they honestly thought that game was fantastic. You know,
Fantastic pile of fucking shit.
Well, I mean, maybe they thought they had created something really, you know.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, everyone, like, I can, part of me can understand, like, some level of frustration, because as a creator myself, it can, like, you know, you always take pride in the things that you make. And so it can suck when people are saying bad things about something that you spent a long time working on.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I mean, this is part of being a creator, especially one that's in an artistic field like games. You gotta take that criticism.
I personally like my artistic capabilities. It's not my problem that nobody else likes stick figures.
I'm right there with you, Greg. I can't draw this in my fucking life.
Look,
3D, however, I'm getting better at
placement of the arms on the stick figure. You know, chef's kiss. Grown actually brings something up. The talk about hype causing trouble. No Man's Sky. That was another case of it.
Yes.
Like, No Man's Sky was
the redemption arc of No Man's Sky.
Oh yeah, definitely a redemption arc. But like, that game was incredibly hyped, like ridiculously so. Mm-hmm. And it came out, and people were not happy with it. Granted, even at launch, that game is a lot better than what the day before was. Because the day before, honestly, it looked like something hastily cobbled together and non-functional.
I never even
before had its issues, but it's just the problem with No Man's Sky is that they just overpromised. They overpromised a lot.
For No Man's Sky.
Yeah, that was the problem. And
Yeah.
seeing what was his name? Like one of the lead guys at from that studio at the Game Awards hyping up their next game. It's given some flashbacks, not gonna lie. But he managed to make things right with No Man's Sky by continuing to work on it, provide like free expansions, and now No Man's Sky is actually regarded quite highly.
Well, they just shut up and did what they had to do.
Yeah, they fixed their mistakes.
What a novel idea! Just shut the fuck up.
They just shut the fuck up and did what the fuck they had to do. I mean, who would have thunk it? You shut the fuck up. You put your nose to the grindstone. You get it done, and you start producing, and meeting expectations, or in some cases exceeding expectations, and people like your shit. Who knew?
Yeah, I mean,
not that difficult, guys.
I just think it was impressive on the account of No Man's Sky that they stuck with it. After everything that happened, they stuck with it and actually made it into something worthwhile.
FBI. Yeah. So another little piece of I don't want to say doom and gloom, but it seems like
doom and gloom is our thing tonight, I think.
Barely. I mean, it's honestly, unfortunately, it's.
Is there anything positive?
Look, bad news spreads faster than good news.
It really does.
That's just kind of the nature of it. But you have to at least try to find the more positive bits, like a good laugh at Fantastic for coming out and saying things when they really shouldn't have.
How about AI generated elements? All the AI conversation. Somebody mentioned AI earlier. I think it was Insomnia Night was talking about AI is going to take over, especially in the gaming space.
Yeah. Well, there is a bit to kind of go. Oh, there's NFTs are back too.
we
are they really though? I feel like it's just like a last grasp.
It's the last grasp
because everyone already knows NFTs are bullshit. Like. In fact, it's a very vain coming back out for them.
Yeah, it's the last dying breath of the NFTs. But basically, with regards to the kind of AI piece, apparently, Steam has begun allowing AI-generated content on their platform. One of them, anyway.
Yeah, so here's the thing with AI. I think it depends on your use of it, and granted, that can be harder to police. Obviously, but
go ahead, Matt.
But I have seen it used in some interesting ways. Like I can't remember if I brought it up on the stream before or not, but there was a game that's in early access right now. Actually, quite a few streamers have played it. Called Suck
I Believe You. Insomnia. I know you. This man never sleeps, so there's no way he could be human.
But this game called Suck Up, it uses AI, but I think it uses it creatively for the purpose of the game. Because the premise is that it's a pretty cartoonish game. It's very silly. The premise is that you're a vampire and you're going around a neighborhood, and your goal is to you knock on a door of someone in the neighborhood, and your goal is to convince them to let you in. Because obviously, you're a vampire. You can't go inside someone's house unless they invite you in,
Little pig, let me in.
So you dress up in all sorts of outfits, clothes you find laying around, and try to convince the people to let you inside their house so you can suck their blood. And what they do is that all the NPCs are actually controlled by an AI in the way that they respond to you. So, they'll comment on what you're wearing or something like that, and pretty much you have a conversation with them. Like you could either type out your what you say to them or say it in your microphone. It'll take a speech to text.
There's laws against that, Insomnia.
And then they'll have then the AI will take whatever you say and create a response based on that. And so you have to convince the AI to let you into the house. And I think that's a very creative and interesting way to actually use AI in a game, because there's so many different conversations that you can have to let that happen. And it's funny seeing what people have done to convince these people to let them in their homes. So I think that is one of the right ways to use AI in the creation of video games, because they use it for what AI is good at. It's not to like try to like cut costs for what a person could do, but by using the strengths of what only AI could do.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, to clarify with the Steam piece, it basically their kind of approach is no AI unless you've proved that the AI generated you does not use any copyrighted content, which, at least as far as I know of AI and the majority of those programs, they essentially scrape the internet, scouring the internet for images and things to put together into your prompt, which is kind of the argument against it. It's like, hey, you're putting together copyrighted material, you're not doing anything original. And to a degree, I agree with that, in terms of if you are going to use material from the internet, use libraries that have free use or open licenses. Don't use copyrighted stuff.
Yeah, I think that's the main problem when it comes to the copyright issues. That a lot of these AIs,
when it comes to art, anyway. When it comes to art.
when it comes to art, like a lot of them are trained on databases that include copyrighted material.
But
so
who would want to use it if they couldn't use it to grab the good stuff?
I mean, I don't know. That's a rabbit hole that we can go down forever.
Pretty much. It's like you could get an AI. Like I've seen people do this. They use a prompt that they pretty much describe something very similar to The Last of Us. With the main characters Ellie and Joel.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't say Last of Us. They just say like a middle-aged man and a young girl, like in a zombie apocalypse. And the AI would generate images of Joel and Ellie without them telling the AI that's these two, because that's the most prominent part of that, of what it's looking for, that the AI has been trained on. So that's, I think, again, because AI is something very new, it hasn't quite been regulated and stuff. And I think we're getting to a point where we're gonna need to start. I think the lawmakers are kind of need to start working on that to make sure that there's essentially AI isn't just this lawless land.
Well, there's a
where copyright is thrown to the wind.
There's a consumer responsibility as well. I absolutely don't like hearing that we need to make laws about things, because there's a consumer responsibility as well. And I know that only goes as far as where you can save a buck. But it comes right down to, if you want to support people, artists, then don't buy the shit. It's the same thing for, if there's any company out there that you feel, I don't like what this company does, or what their business practices are, but then they've got the cheapest product on the market, so then you turn around and buy it. I mean,
that is another part of it. And I think, and it's similar to the case with NFTs, where people will start, people will see it and people won't buy it. That was what happened with NFTs. And so I think when it comes to games that use AI as a manner of just the cost cutting, and it people can see those low quality, when the effort isn't put into the game. People will see that
Mhm.
and they won't buy it.
In,
So
in-
I think even then that creates a problem where essentially Steam already has an issue with discoverability because so many people are always putting out so much stuff on Steam that
on Etsy.
you know,
Yeah.
like Etsy too, where like gems can get buried in the sea of garbage. Not saying that if you make a game, don't try to make some money on it. Put it out in the market. But that problem will only become exacerbated when game makers start using AI and start pumping things out into the market.
That's the thing is the AI piece. The part that annoys me the most is that it jumped right into using it for art, for graphic art.
Mhm.
There's so much else that would massively improve gameplay that they could use AI for if they would develop it to do that. Like we talked about this a little bit the other night with the environmental pieces, like a game like Cyberpunk 2077. These large games that you have, you're reproducing a city environment or a town environment or anything like that, where you have a lot of interaction with NPCs. Use the AI to improve the interaction with the NPCs. Make sure that I don't see that same person every 20 feet. There's like a duplicate of the person I just passed. I keep passing this same lady. It doesn't matter if she's following me around the game or something. I mean,
I feel like that would be harder to manage because you're essentially saying auto-generate new assets for the game each time.
Well,
so
wouldn't that harder to manage or not? That would be AI. That would be an AI function to do that.
That would be a nice functionality, but like
so if you're going to put it into games, use it for something like that instead of generating art. Pay an artist to generate art. There's plenty of artists out there.
I mean, couldn't you make the same argument that auto-generating new, like, say, 3D models for those NPCs is the same thing as using it to generate a 2D image for art?
I don't think so. I think that's different. And the reasoning behind that is because you're producing an algorithm to, and expanding upon the algorithm to do what you need it to do. Yes, there's an algorithm base. I mean, it's even what we're using right now isn't true AI. It's not actually creating anything. It's pulling a bunch of shit together and making something out of it. It's not
Frankenstein's monster.
Right. It's not an actual artificial intelligence. It's as close as we can get right now. Put it that way. That may not even be true if you really see what's going on in robotics right now. I mean, there is some semi-capable of independent thought robots that are out there.
I've seen some things. I've seen some wacky things.
Mm-hmm.
Terminators.
Who knows? Maybe. They interviewed one. They had I forget. There's a company over in Japan that made it's designed to replicate human behavior as much as he figured me out. Damn. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Now it's gonna have to, Skynet is coming because we figured this out.
Look at his hands. His hands look all jacked up. That's an AI for sure.
Greg is self-aware.
Okay, I'm just gonna shut up now.
But no, go ahead, Greg. You were saying something.
Well, no, I was giving you a little AI rant about robots and stuff. But anyway, I'm very. Why it had to go into the easiest possible sector for it to go into and go out
easy money.
Start grabbing, all the digital work that's been put out there online. And here's the saddest part about this is that when these artists, especially the graphic artists, especially the small ones, are trying to market themselves, they have no choice but to put their work out there online. That's how they market themselves. And now we've developed this program that's going to go out and scour their work along with everybody else's work, but their work too, and generate this image without and the person that's using the AI isn't putting anything into it other than a command prompt. Give me an image that has these features. Boom, there we go. And these people who are out, well, exactly. And these people who are out there actually being creative and creating this stuff get nothing.
Yeah, that's why, you know, we've been saying that AI should be trained off of proper source of like copyright free to use material. So, you know, essentially ethically trained AI. And, you know, it's, and in the case of using AI in games, yes, they should be ethically trained as well, because, you know, they can say, you know, you have to prove there's no like copyright material in the use of AI in the game, but how much is Valve going to police that? Because if we know anything about Valve, is that they don't pay too much attention to what goes on in the platform that they have.
No.
And it's the same way that, like, say, YouTube could never fully police all of the content that's put out on their website because there's just so much.
Tell you what, if we stop buying their product, they'll police it.
Well, that's the rub of it, is to get people to actually give a shit.
If you say,
here's the thing, they're not obligated to
if
give
you
a
say,
shit.
you know what, Valve, screw you, there's a different platform out there that is more suited to what I believe and what I stand for, so I'm not going to use your service anymore. You get enough of us doing that, and they'll change their approach. They will police it.
Unfortunately, there are I wouldn't say there are very few. There are other platforms akin to
let's start one, Insomnia.
Valve/Steam.
Hey, I mean, the biggest is
like
Epic
GOG,
Games.
Epic Games. You know, there are other markets, but they're not as big as Steam.
Yeah, it's similar to how like D&D is still the dominant TTRPG. Like there are others out there, but D&D dominates that market. It's the same with Steam. There are others out there, but Steam is the one who dominates that market. But I don't know. I think when it comes to AI use in games, people are eventually going to wisen up to the ones that use AI for this, and they were lazy in their use of it, and like for the, you know, to try to cut corners and stuff.
The saddest part about the AI situation is no matter how much we bitch about it, it's here to stay. It's here now.
Oh yeah,
it's not going anywhere.
It is. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. It's going to keep on improving.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Yeah, all I want is a game I'm fine with AI being in games as long as the AI, again, is ethically sourced, so it's not, you know, doing bullshit, getting copyrighted material into a game, and B, is used for purposes that is unique to AI that a person couldn't necessarily do, fully utilizing the strengths of an AI as opposed to cutting corners for what a person could otherwise do. Because it is possible, we've seen it. That game Suck Up is one such case. It builds on the strength of AI. Don't tell me what. What am I?
It's you, man.
Why aren't you guys telling me?
It's you. He secretly knows all about you. All the different characters that you play. You are now going to be an AI.
How do you know I'm already not? Maybe I'm the real AI. It makes sense for all the bullshit things I say. Sometimes it just doesn't make any sense. It's like an AI that just start going all off the fritz.
You know, man.
I knew there was something broken about you.
I mean, look at the fucking Kirby he's got sitting back there. That says that.
Don't be mean to my boy over here. He's my boy.
Rob's really real human.
A little too lovingly.
Get you someone who looks at you like Kirby is looking at me right now. That's all I'm saying.
Kirby looks AI generated.
First of all, Graham, how dare you? No,
that was fucking funny.
there's some lines you shouldn't cross, and you just crossed them, buddy. You know.
Wow.
The hands, yeah.
Be
It's
thankful I'm
always
not banning you right now.
I think that was your one warning, Grim.
Don't you be mean to my boy over here.
Oof. Wow. All right, so we do. There's one topic I definitely want to make sure that we put some time into tonight.
Yes.
That came up in our actually came up in our Discord. So if you guys are not part of our Discord, follow the link in the chat. Get yourself on the Discord. Stop waiting. Join the Discord.
Yeah.
Come chat with
Join
us.
Discord.
But yeah, so it was Garrus actually brought it up for us tonight. And
Yeah, Garrus.
a new
Yeah, he
Texas
did.
simulator. I think the Texas simulator is doing very well right now. Anyway, so what was that topic, Rob?
So that, well, apparently Apple decided to take a page out of the Unity playbook and start charging essentially a runtime fee in the EU. So it's only restricted for now to the EU, and it's a little bit different though. So basically, the Apple is introducing what they call the core technology fee in the EU. Basically, it's in reaction to the European Commission's kind of. They enacted what's called the Digital Markets Act, which we'll go to in a second. But basically, it's going to allow Apple to charge developers a €50 fee for each annual install past 1 million installs. But that's only if the developers want to take advantage of the Digital Markets Act rules. And basically, what kind of that piece is, it's a narrow definition of kind of objective criteria. I'm actually kind of reading it right here. I just pulled it up. For qualifying a large online platform as a so-called gatekeeper, think like an ecosystem like Apple, the Google Play Store, I believe, would be one. Although I don't know if they're involved in this at all, but Apple's a good example. And basically, this allows the DMA to remain kind of targeted to the problem it aims to tackle in regards to large systematic online platforms. So some of the benefits, and again, not to get too preachy, but or kind of too technical.
Preach it, brother. Just don't say amen. You're all right.
So basically, business users who depend on gatekeepers to offer their services in kind of the market will have a fair business environment. This is kind of in relation to kind of competitors and how these large platforms like the Google Play Store or Apple, the Apple Store, have to kind of deal with their competitors and folks within that particular ecosystem. But the major difference for me is the fact that Apple isn't. I mean, not that Unity was doing anything necessarily illegal. Mostly, kind of. It was a little illegal. Apple isn't actually doing anything illegal. It's all legal in the EU based on this recent change for them.
Oh yeah, I mean there's a lot of things that you can do that are legal. Whether or not they're ethical is a completely different question.
Yeah,
like, I mean, it's with Unity, but yeah, it's honestly this is kind of nothing new for Apple. They're known to make a lot of money off of the people who use their platform. Like, if you recall, like the entire debacle between Riot, no, was it Riot? No, Epic,
yeah,
like Epic Games and Apple, is because of Apple. Essentially they took what, like a 30% cut off of all transactions done over the Apple iOS store, which is
Yes,
huge. It's
I'm pretty
huge.
sure. Yeah.
And Epic did their whole thing. They
Take 30 after. I mean, every here's the thing. Everybody has their cost. Valve, Steam has their. They take 30%. I believe Epic takes 30% as well.
Yeah, any platform is going to take its cut. Like that's unavoidable in one way or another. But Apple is known for just taking a very large piece of that pie.
Well, here's the thing with Apple and this whole runtime deal. It honestly, Unity, and here's the thing, and I've read a couple of the comments on some of our sources, and one user put it pretty well. This is it's basically digital rent. Is essentially what these runtime fees are. It's digital rent. But the one thing that they pointed out that kind of I guess I didn't think about it, but when I read it, I was like, "What? Yeah, okay, that makes a whole lot of sense." Is that we survived without it for so long? Like this didn't. You would expect this to happen a lot sooner than it did. Especially what I'm getting at. But Unity has opened the door to it in a big way. So while they failed in their attempt, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing more of this.
Well, Apple, the rent concept. Okay, Apple is charging you for access to their community. That's really what it is, and it's a monstrous community. So, the other thing about it is it's a community of people that are. I mean, they love Apple products. They pay ridiculous amounts of money for products that are not, okay, the Apple lovers are gonna, lynch me here, but you pay ridiculous amounts of money for products that are not even the top of the market. They're not even the best product out there. They're the highest priced product out there.
Yes.
And who would not want to access that community? If you're willing to pay $1,500 for something that my $900 phone does everything your $1,500 phone can do, and probably is a little bit more versatile than your $1,500 phone, then absolutely I want to put my products in front of you because you're willing to pay through the nose for stuff. And 30% doesn't seem like so much anymore after that.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though, especially if you're like, say, a developer for mobile apps. The Apple iOS store that's the dominant force for the mobile market.
It is.
Like
it is absolutely.
It is the Steam of the mobile market. Probably even more dominant than Steam is for the PC market. So like if you're developing mobile apps, you have to deal with Apple. Like unless like say unless you got like some sort of exclusivity contract from another platform, you're gonna have to deal with the Apple iOS and whatever terms that they have. It's just as simple as that. So because of that, they're able to, in a sense, they are able to get away with taking such a big piece of the pie because they don't have any valid competition to make people go away.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean the only competition that they really have is the Google Play Store, but it really isn't a competition.
Yeah,
the Apple ecosystem is just
it's too massive.
It's a lot. I mean like it. They wanted it to be. It's a lifestyle now. You have Apple products. You have the phone. You have the watch. You have the laptop or PC or Mac rather. You have the computer. You have the iPad. You have all these things to facilitate you just using that ecosystem across the board. Well, and so many people have it.
And then on top of that, you have the design engineering aspect that Apple products are not made to be compatible with any other thing. So if you're going to use Apple products, then you're going to be isolated into Apple products.
You gotta get the Apple charger.
Exactly.
If you got an iPad, you want a little pen for it, gotta get the Apple, stylus pen, all that stuff. I mean, it's a common tactic. You don't just see it from Apple. Tesla does the same thing with its electric cars. They have the patented charging station that only Teslas can use and other electric vehicles can't. You see it all over the place. Something that coming up with a bunch of names for the Apple community, I guess.
Okay. Don't give Apple any ideas.
The Apple oven, the Apple fridge. I mean, fair enough. I don't know. I mean,
What you
the
think?
Apple condom might be superior to other condoms. They don't get as many viruses as the ones. supposedly.
Wow, we went there, did we?
I had to. It was low hanging fruit.
Sometimes you just gotta go for it.
Couldn't let that pass up.
Exactly. Sometimes the most obvious joke to make is also the best one.
Oh, all right. So I can't figure out if we've hit a new low or a new high. It's got to be one of those. Maybe it's a new high.
Depends on who you ask.
You're right, Harper. It is Rob.
Yeah, but I'm gonna bring something up just because we put it in the announcement and said we were going to talk about it. Update on the Pal World situation with Nintendo.
Oh yeah,
Nintendo has said that they're looking into things, like they're actively investigating. So
yep,
we'll see where that goes because, like character designs are one thing. Are some of them, I think, pushing the line for how closely they resemble? Sure, but I don't think it's enough for that to be a copyright case. It's just the possibility of the certain 3D models allegedly being ripped from Pokemon and changed up for Pal World.
Yeah, and we actually did some digging, and we heard some kind of updates on that whole model situation. Apparently, the author of that model kind of admitted they adjusted some proportions, namely the scale.
Okay. I'd like that to be rephrased because he didn't adjust proportions. He scaled the models, which is just the overall size.
Yeah.
However, that does not change the overall body proportions, which stayed very, very similar. And for those who don't know, changing the scale of a model, its overall size, is incredibly easy. It's just like a single value you got to edit. That's it. So there are several models actually that bear striking proportional similarities to certain Pokemon, and
no Charmander.
There have been several industry professionals, people who work on 3D models for their living, that have said that normally this does not happen. You don't normally see similarities to this extent, especially across several models. Again, as we said in the week before, I'll say it again here, this is all unproven thus far. They're just allegations, nothing concrete yet. It's just enough to be raising some eyebrows, and if Pokemon is going to be, if Nintendo is going to be able to hit Pal World with anything, I think it would be this. The designs aren't enough for a copyright case, in my opinion. It's about the models and whether or not they were ripped from Pokemon or not.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I want to touch on a point that you made, Matt. The proportions of the character model don't change despite scale. Just again, scale is essentially size.
Yeah.
So that model that they kind of pasted over or kind of placed over the Pal World model was still very similar in terms of the basic proportions of the model. So, and Insomniac says honestly, the adjustments to them in the Pal World are way more creative. I'll agree again from what I've seen. However, and again, this is just speculation. I'm not saying this for sure. If it turns out that they did rip models from Pokemon and just slightly adjusted them, they might be in for a world of hurt. Because
Yeah.
in my book, and again, I am by no means a lawyer or know anything with regards to plagiarism and how that all works. That to me is plagiarism.
Oh no,
You took
it
an
is.
already existing model and just tweaked it a little bit, called it by a different name.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I hope that it's false because I hope that they just managed to create their own unique 3D models that just happen to be very similar. I really hope that is the case because a lot of people are enjoying the game, and I also think it's a bit of a wake-up call to Game Freak, people who currently make Pokemon games, that they need to do something new with Pokemon.
You like capturing humans, Insomnia Night? Pretty sure there's a term for that.
I mean, it's something you can do in the game, but
it is.
I mean, one of the big reasons why Palworld succeeded as it has, not is because people love Pokemon, and they've really been wanting something new from Pokemon, and that's what Palworld did. It took the concept like Pokemon and did something new with it. Like there's a reason. Like I think there's always, whenever you see an IP or something that has a very active community that make their own games from what you've done, that means they're starving. They're starving for something new. And Pokemon has a lot of people that have taken the emulation and made hacks of it for new games, or straight up built from scratch fan games of Pokemon. There are a lot of those out there, which means it's very beloved, but people also aren't satisfied with what Game Freak has been putting out over the past several years.
Yeah, that's Pokemon's pretty beloved, but it has grown stale, for sure.
Yeah. Like I love Pokemon. I still love Pokemon. Like I played Scarlet and Violet, even if I was disappointed at the state of it. That game could have been so much more. But I still keep up with the series because I do love it, and I want to see it succeed. But yeah, it's they're very old fashioned, and they want to keep. Honestly, it's not.
What?
It's a weird bit because
are you saying that Ash isn't a real boy?
Well, don't you know they've the Pokemon anime has actually moved on. Ash's journey is over.
Oh.
Finally, after decades.
See,
our boy can rest.
That's where it died right there.
Did he finally retire and stop trying to catch them all, or did he catch them all? I can't remember.
No, he didn't. He didn't catch them all, but he did
liars.
Essentially, win the world championship.
He finally turned 13.
He's no longer 12.
He was 13 for better part of 15 years.
It's like that Twilight joke where Ed, where she's Bella was asking Edward, how long have you been what was it, 18? How long have you been 18? It's the same thing with Ash. How long have you been 12?
Pretty much. Oh yeah, that is true. The Beast was actually a young man for. Damn. I gotta go back and watch that movie now.
What movie?
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh. Man, it has been a long time since I've watched some of the Disney classics.
Mm.
Yeah, that he definitely got his life extended in that one.
Oh yeah.
Welcome in, Shadow. Good to see you.
But yeah, I mean, Pokemon just needs to do something new, and it's not that they haven't tried to do something new before, because they've come out with some spin-off games. Obviously, there's Pokemon Snap that they brought back. They did a fighting game called Pokken Tournament. They made a MOBA called Pokemon Unite. They do play around with it, but I don't know. Maybe it's because it's like the tone is never different. Because it's consistently marketed, mainly towards children. Maybe that's because, like, from our perspective, since we've been with the franchise for so long, that it just feels stale because it doesn't change. Like, to contrast that with a different game series, God of War. We played God of War when we were edgy teenagers because it was a game marketed towards edgy teenagers. You were Kratos, you killed a bunch of things.
What
like
edgy teenager
rampage.
wouldn't want to play a game called God of War, even if
Exactly.
it completely sucked?
Exactly. But then look what happened when they brought God of War back. The game has matured in tone, where a lot of those edgy teenagers have now grown up and possibly started their own families. You have a more mature Kratos with a family. He has a son that you like venture with during the game. They aged with their audience. And I think that was a fucking genius move on their part. Because I don't think God of War reboot would have done hardly as well if it was the same thing as what it was before. Because they knew their audience had grown up, so they grew up with them. They should res his other son. True, he does have. I mean, he does have another family. They're just a little dead, but I mean, Kratos came back from Hades. He was essentially dead and just crawled out. Why couldn't his family? They're weak.
Wow.
but it makes me wonder. Like, I mean, granted, Nintendo has never really been a company to really market towards a more mature audience. They've always been, family friendly.
Games are for kids.
I wouldn't say I mean, they do market a lot towards kids, but they make sure that everything's family friendly. But a part of me wonders what Pokemon would look like if they took a direction like that and like matured with the audience that they've had and still do have.
Yeah, I mean, I still like Pokemon, even though I will be honest, I haven't played any of the games.
All I can say about that is there's a reason. There is a reason why Nintendo is the oldest game company ever in the world.
Oh yeah, like, and despite
I wouldn't say that changing who they are fundamentally is a good idea.
Yeah, again, it's hard to say like what the ideal solution would be because like there's some places where Nintendo innovates and does well. There's some where they don't and it doesn't go well. At
some point the rest of us just have to grow up and move on and let the children be children.
No, it's my Pokemon. I've been there since the beginning. You kids, you don't know shit. I bet you don't even know who Bulbasaur is.
I have my okay, little bit of telling, but you guys know I have an autistic son. I've watched every single one of the cartoons for Pokemon because he loves them. I've probably watched every one of them like 20 times with him. So, yeah, I know who Bulbasaur is. Matter of fact, I probably have an image of him ingrained in the back of my retina.
But you know what? You'll watch it again with him.
I will, absolutely. Every day when I get home from work, that's what he's watching. So I usually sit down and watch a little bit with him. And it's amazing.
Classics,
after 20-some years, it is amazing how interesting Pokemon cartoons that are as old as he is are. It's like a good book. Every time you reread it, you find something new.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I didn't notice that the first time.
Like that time Gary showed off his badges and somehow had 10 of them when there were only 8, I love that. I love that bit. It's like typical production error. But
Team Rocket are my heroes.
No, Team Rocket,
no.
they are the soul of that series.
They
Jesse
really
and
are.
James Meowth. Like, the saddest part about that current Pokemon series, like, ending and them starting something new, is the fact that Ash's journey ending is one thing, but no longer getting Jesse, James, and Meowth, good old Team Rocket, that's the saddest piece right there.
Everything comes to an end. And Insomnia Night, nah, we're not turning Australia's animals into Pokemon. Fuck, no, we'd all be dead. We'd all be dead.
I mean,
we'd all be dead.
I mean, if any place was like a Pokemon world, how dangerous the animals are, that would be Australia. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, but let's not go down that road. Hell, that's a
I choose you, drop bear. Exactly.
They've got fucking animal
I choose
spiders
you,
as
Komodo
big as your
dragon.
head.
Anyway.
They got Komodo dragons. Yeah, that have they.
Seriously, if and I was facing that personally, I would just be like, okay, you win. I'm done. No, they live on an island off of Australia. Yes, I know this.
But no, still, they're close enough. God damn it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's called Dinkum. Huh? Never played that one. Let's see.
Well, do you guys want to do? I mean, we got a little bit of housekeeping we can do, and
we do have some housekeeping that we need to take care of. Yeah,
we do. We got way off topic tonight. Apologize to everybody, but I think we had fun doing it. So, for those who don't like it, too bad. So, and that was our goal tonight. Our goal tonight was to stay on topic. So we're really good at hitting our goals, by the way.
Challenge level impossible.
Yes, absolutely.
A little bit. Especially when our chat encourages our shenanigans. So it's all y'all's fault. Y'all to blame.
Wow.
Okay, so nope. Go ahead, Greg.
So we have tomorrow night. We will be rolling back into season 2, episode 1 of the BOR. So back into Cyberpunk, and with the characters that we originally started with. So, and the storyline, rolling that back out again. We'll have a little break in there because we still have some one shots that we're going to be doing as we do work with Free League Press, Artel Sorian. So we will be doing some one shots of their game systems. So I think the week after next, I did plan for 2 weeks, Matt, but I can bump episode 2 if need be. So it's up to you. Do you want to do 2 weeks or do you want to do 3?
Let's err on the safer side and say 3.
Okay.
Because in addition to, I'm currently looking over the book for Mutant Year Zero.
Mm-hmm.
But in addition to that, I'll also need some time to make sure that all the players get their characters done and stuff like that. So let's err on the side of caution for that one. I'll just say it's you guys. It's not even characters made by you. You're just gonna play yourselves in this game.
According to chat tonight, I'm an AI robot synthetic something. I'm guessing.
So it should be easy.
I don't need a character. I am the character.
Oh, but because everyone is mutants, you'll have to be like an uglier version of yourself. So that's like the only thing.
All of you but Rob are AI. Why am I not AI? I mean, I'm glad I'm not AI, but what precludes me from being AI? Maybe I'm so good at being human.
So we're just figments of your imagination, Rob. That's what it comes down to.
Oh God!
If you're the human, that means you created Matt and I.
I don't want that.
Why would you do this?
Oh, right. Oh, you've seen me drink.
What? I have like a glass of water every stream.
That's empty.
Yeah,
I have
because I drink it all.
Synth oil right here. I mean coffee.
And their hands are fucked. Yeah. I guess we're all taking a little bit of drink.
So we have that. So the next couple of weeks we will be doing Cyberpunk on Thursday night. And outside of that, we have, I don't know what we have. We have things and stuff that's coming up.
Let's see. We have episode 38. I'm going to dive into a couple of other industry things. There's a couple stuff out there that it's kind of been floating around, namely DMCAs that are coming out with regards to some Valve stuff. Apparently, Intel is coming out with their own line of GPUs in direct competition to NVIDIA and AMD, and apparently those GPUs are looking fairly strong. So there's some of that stuff, and there's some news out of the D&D / TTRPG sector, kind of around Matt Mercer. For those of you know, he's the host of Critical Role and one of the kind of founding members there, and another gentleman, Matt Colville, who's designing MCDM, a D20 system. Fantasy setting. I don't want to say it's a direct competition. Well, I don't want to say it's a competition to competitive D&D, but I don't want to say it's a
that's the way
what's
he's.
a better,
that's
what's
the way
a better
he's
word than
marketing it.
ripoff? What's a nicer word than ripoff?
It is inspired by.
Inspired. There we go.
Complimentary. How about that?
Yeah, complementary to D&D. It's a system that's not necessarily complementary to D&D, but I'm sure there were some inspirations. I've seen some of the work via some YouTube videos that these put out, and it seems like an interesting system. So we'll be talking about them.
Uh-oh.
And what happened? What?
Somebody tonight tried to post a link to something. What is that link? I don't. Girls by Moonlight.
Girls by Moonlight.
That sounds
game.
sus.
Should I be scared to follow this link?
We can run whatever.
It's like
Sailor Moon, like a Sailor Moon TTRPG.
I mean, we can run whatever we want to run. I mean, for the most part. I mean,
hold on.
I'm not bashful or afraid to run things. I just there's certain places I just
opened it up.
Rob has to wear a dress at some point,
girls.
I guess.
I will not be wearing a dress.
So
Tragic Magical Girls Illuminating the Darkness, Girl by Moonlight. Girl by Moonlight is a multi-genre RPG of magical girls grappling with destiny. Hope thwarted, defended, redeemed, and betrayed. It explores the heartbreak of denying who you really are, fighting for what you believe in, and transcendent power of relationships and community.
I was just imagining a group of people all being in character as you do your magical girl transformations. You know what? This sounds amazing.
We might have to do this.
No.
I would have to watch a couple episodes of Sailor Moon to prepare, learn how to really get the character of a magical girl.
This is built off of Forged in the Dark system. Okay.
Magical girl.
Oh, Blades in the Dark. Okay. I know this system. Huh. Okay. You know what?
So we have some. Hey, if you can talk these guys into running that, then more power to you. Fantastic.
Okay, so we can run it, so you can be one of the players. You'll be a magical girl, is what you're saying.
Greg's already a magical girl.
Yeah, what are you talking about? I'm already a magical girl. Wow. So I mean, we have a games lineup right now that we need to run. So I mean, I don't care. We can add that in there at some point. I'll run or play most. There are some games that I really just am not interested in. I will put it that way. But I mean, we can take a look at that one for certain.
Are you saying you're not interested in magical girls?
I don't know. I don't know anything about that game. I don't know anything about it.
Everyone loves magical girls. Come on.
But back to our bit of housekeeping. So before we get off topic about magical girls, so yeah, next episode 38 of the.
I don't
Update Live,
like
we'll be
days
talking about-
that end with Y. Insomnia
Yep.
Night.
We'll be talking about those pieces. Tomorrow we'll be diving back into season 2, episode 1 of the BOR, and then the week after that, I believe Matt is when you're running Mutant Year Zero.
Whatever we said before, like 3 weeks.
3 weeks, 2 weeks? I don't know.
I think
Oh.
we
Yeah,
said,
3
we
weeks.
said 3. Just
So-
to err on the side of caution.
Yep.
Make
Tomorrow,
sure-
Oh, okay.
tomorrow night will be episode 1 for BOR, and then next Thursday will be episode 2 for season 2.
Okay.
And then the week after that, we'll do Mutant one shot. And you know, we should look at what else we want to do. We have the core game for BOR. We need to run a. There's a couple others that we need to run, but the one that keeps my mind loaded up here is we got to do Walking Dead at some point here. We got to do Blade Runner too, but.
Yeah, we do.
We're gonna have to create like a tiered list.
Yes.
All the games we need to play. Like, which are the ones we really want to play? Obviously, the Magical Girl one going straight to the top.
You know who wants to be a magical girl here, right?
Nope.
But I watched Sailor Moon when I was a kid. That shit was
It's
fun.
Matt. Look at his hair.
Well, here's the okay. I'm gonna get shot, but I am gonna tell you a little bit of something here, very, very little bit of something here. But as you know, we have our own content creation studio. We are developing a game right now. We have a couple other things that we're working on as well. But the game that we are developing is Cthulhu-esque.
It's got Eldritch themes.
Yep.
So as soon as we start talking about that, that's probably about all we'll talk about, because it's very exciting and obviously bubbling over with the containment piece. So I'm sure Matt will
I'm fucking
will
excited.
be
for it.
whipping me later because of that, but that's okay.
Absolutely fucking.
You know, and based on the what you just went through, maybe we'll add some magical girls to it.
You're fired, man. You're fired.
I'm the leader of the project. I can put whatever I want in it.
I agree. Right.
No, it'll be fun, and so looking forward to that. We are just we'll be complete with the mod that not really mod. We're creating a 4-part story, which is actually chapter 1 for the Cyberpunk game that we're going to be running at GaryCon this year. So if any of you are at GaryCon, planning on going to GaryCon, then please do check us out and come play some Cyberpunk with us. But yeah, we'll be introducing that at GaryCon, and I'm actually a little excited to talk about that as well, but I know I can't, so we'll wait until after GaryCon. You can actually play, I believe, definitely live, because I'll be running it live at GaryCon. And I believe we'll be running. Are we going to run that virtually, or are we going to run a variant? So Matt will be running Cyberpunk virtually as well. So
Yeah, I'll be running a Witcher variant to our story.
And we'll also be running a Witcher. We'll be running a Bitcher game. Now we have to create a Bitcher game. I like it. Sounds good.
I don't even want to know the premise of that one.
Well, if we're gonna do Party Girls, I mean, you know, it's a short leap. Anyway, no, The Witcher will be playing. It will be running a Witcher game as well at GaryCon and virtually. So please do join us. And that's all I've got.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I've got as well. Shit. Thank you guys for joining us for episode 37 as we dived into a couple of topics, everything from Power World to Apple's runtime fees and all the layoffs that have just started, and it's not even a month into 2024. While it was a little bit of doom and gloom, again, hopefully it's short-lived. Hopefully that the things will kind of even out, and those folks who have been let go by the various studios will find a new place to call home or make one of their own. It'll get better for everyone involved. So to keep your heads up, pull a no man's sky, put your nose to the grindstone, and just get to work.
We could
speak for themselves.
We could make anything in Insomnia. It just might not be very good.
DBZ.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Hold on there. A DBZ TTRPG? Okay. I like it.
That'd be interesting.
There would definitely be some IP issues there.
I was gonna say, could we get the rights to that? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know if we can get the rights to that one. But maybe we can try. However, that's it for tonight, guys. Thank you guys for joining us again, as always. You are part of the reason why we do this. Pal Ball V.
Pal Ball.
Exactly. You're not a
with that said,
Dan.
Greg, if you'll start our raid.
Yes, we are. If he's still on, we are going to jump over to Stormy D and join him tonight. So please do show Stormy a little love. If you have not subscribed to his channel, please do when we get over there. They do a variety of things. They have a talk show of their own. They do some gameplay, and they also run some D&D campaign over there. So good folks, show them some love. With that, my wonderful timing is way off again. I got this right like one time. So
that's your badge of honor.
That's my claim to fame right there. I did it right once.
Yeah.